we like doing that. I like it open format a lot.
We're gonna open format it. Anyways, hi and welcome back to Guffs Stuff Weekly Podcast. I'm Javen.
I'm Guff. Why don't I ever get to start?
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I just don't. No, I mean, why don't I get to do the intro anymore?
Go ahead.
You've just taken over.
Do the intro.
No, we're
Do
going.
it.
We're going.
No,
No, we're
no,
hey, hi. This is welcome back to Guff Stuff Weekly. I'm Guff.
I'm Javen.
Okay, now we did it. Okay, I feel better now.
Okay.
I feel like the world's back to normal.
Yeah, it's all right.
It used to be every other time, but you just take it over, and I like that though. That's good. It's weird that I like it, but that it bothers me. I'd rather you do it though, because then I can focus on other things like putting together my models and stuff, playing with my toys.
Are we gonna edit this out or are we gonna leave it?
No, we're gonna leave it.
We'll
This
leave it.
is random. This is random. So
Great. So what I want to talk about
yeah,
today
let's talk.
is something near and dear and a problem for all of us gamers.
Oh,
Where do you put all your stuff when you're not using it?
oh man. Well, I own a store, so I can just put wherever I want.
You have a large open space with shelves on the wall.
You just put stuff wherever. And that's generally how my store looks. It's just there's random stuff in places.
I used to live in an apartment that could be classified. You've heard the term hole in the wall? A hole in the wall?
Yep.
I literally lived in a hole in the wall.
Oof, that's not good.
My bedroom was the size of a bathroom.
Okay.
My bathroom was the size of a closet. My shower was literally underneath the staircase of the person that lived above me.
Oh, nice.
And so, like, I had half of a shower.
This isn't growing up now at home.
No. I wasn't like my bedroom was like the size of Harry Potter's cupboard in the movies.
Okay.
And then my kitchen was about the size of my bedroom, maybe smaller. And then my living room, the area I had to do everything else, had a front door that went right outside.
Oh, jeez.
I had a little panel of wood before the carpet that I could put my boots on.
Right.
And I could fit 2 pairs of my huge-ass boots on that. There was one benefit to where I lived, though.
Everything was in the hand reach.
I had a garage.
Oh, there you go.
The garage was about the size of the living room.
And it was full.
And it was full of all the stuff I had. I had to do shelving and totes and all this. And I have a lot of games and board games and all sorts of other crap and amplifiers for guitars and tools. And
that sounds awful busy.
it was rough. But what I had to do was I had to basically modularize and compartmentalize all of my hobby stuff.
Yeah, I should do that.
So I had a toolbox full of my paints that got stored in a closet because it couldn't be stored outside. Anything that could go in cold storage, because where we live, it gets 40 below zero.
Freaking cold out, yeah.
So you had to make sure that it could freeze and survive.
Right.
So I basically had to go through and reorganize everything.
Oh, man.
I even had a table that I attached to the wall that I put all my paint supplies on, and I could flip it down when I wasn't using it, because then I could actually, have my computer there. And
right.
It was a rough time.
Good.
It was a rough time.
But it teaches you some organizational skills.
It taught me organizational skills, and that's what I want to talk about today.
Okay, let's do that.
Some tips and tricks, if you will, of what I've learned on how to store things.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Let's do it.
Okay.
IKEA is your friend.
I've never bought anything from IKEA.
I actually own 2 things from IKEA. That one and that one.
My mother loves IKEA stuff, buys it all the time. It is great, I can confirm, because I've used a lot of it, but I've never purchased it. I like totes, stackable, Rubbermaid totes.
Yeah, that's what I use at home.
For books, and the reason why I like totes instead of cardboard boxes is because they're waterproof.
Right, bug-proof for the most part.
They're element-proof, bug-proof.
Bugs don't just eat their way through the bottom of the box.
Mice don't like to eat plastic.
No, thank goodness.
They can, but they don't like to.
Right.
Totes are a good friend. You can always pick them up. When it came to miniatures and armies and stuff, I used to buy toolboxes, like Stanley toolboxes.
Right.
Or the cheap $20 ones at Walmart.
Well, they used to be cheap, yeah.
Yeah. And then I've done some other ones, compartmentalized ones where you could pull the trays out and stuff.
Right.
And you just store your squads of dudes in whatever, all my stormtroopers for Legion go in this one bin.
Right.
And then I keep it all in a self-contained box. There's tons of options for storage solutions. There's also, if you're crafty, the possibility of making your own. You and I have both done this.
Oh yeah,
Making your own paint trays or storage racks for.
I've made a lot of things out of foam core.
Foam core is a great tool.
A lot of stuff.
Hot glue gun and foam core is like the cheapest option.
Right, and
you could spend $40 on an MDF cutout board that's really nice.
Right.
But you can get the same effect for an hour's worth of work and $5 worth of material.
What I liked about the foam core and the hot glue for storage and useful items was it didn't cost me really anything. $2 usually. Glue sticks and $1 foam board. And I could test something and see if I like it. If I like it, I can build it out of something else.
Yep.
And lots of times I just didn't, it worked for the time being, and I realized, and I do that with my drawers, like back over behind the counter there. I have 3 drawers, and they all have foam core inserts that separate things.
Yep.
Instead of buying something that was from a hardware store that may or may not work in my drawer, I like foam core.
Yeah, I guess one of my biggest tips then is like what we just said is the foam core idea, or people have done like balsa wood, pine board, whatever. You don't need power tools and saws and stuff like that to build your own organizational stuff.
Right.
And you don't always have to settle for the organizational stuff that's available.
Right. No,
because
you don't.
Can make your own.
Well, that with the 3D printers and all that stuff now what's your limit is nothing really now.
Yeah. Another buddy of mine who was a great example is he's always lived in basically efficiency apartments. Like, just small little apartments.
Gamer Joe.
We'll call him Gamer Joe.
Yeah, Gamer Joe from the other town over there.
From the other town. The Gamer Joe with the magnificent beard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he likes to do chainmail.
Yep.
And he has a drill press and all that. Well, you can't do that in an efficiency apartment.
No, that makes it a little tougher, yeah.
So what he did is he just basically did it in his garage, his cold storage outside, and he just did it during certain seasons.
What a maniac.
And if he wanted to do something in the winter, he'd just coat up and had a little space heater and just did it.
Okay,
but
that works.
I guess like as far as like making use of your space, you just gotta kind of be like, you gotta have a little ingenuity,
right?
And you gotta be willing to sacrifice. Like the main reason I only paint minis and models and stuff during the winter, like that's my winter hobby,
right?
Is because I had to literally bring all the paints in during the winter because I couldn't keep them in cold storage. So then all the stuff that I had to make room for had to go into my cold storage, and I just didn't do any of that during the winter.
Yeah,
and that's why it kind of got ingrained in me that I do mini wargaming in the winter because that's when it had to be inside.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's perfectly logical.
And I mean, that's just one of those things. Is like if you're gonna be a hobbyist, a gamer, or whatever, you got to kind of like go with the flow.
Yeah.
Especially in activities that require space. And I know space is a big issue for a lot of people.
Well, it's because, even you take your wargaming and you take your armies, and I tell you, even just storing the terrain here in the store is a lot of space just for that.
Yeah.
It takes up the whole bottom shelf. And yeah, we're gonna make better shelving and better storage for that. But it gets to be out of control. Now imagine taking all this stuff, like your board games, for instance.
Oh, man.
You take a huge chunk of just the little bit of storage we do have for just your board games.
Yeah, and I've tried to...
That's fine, because we like your board games.
Yeah.
But when you have all those at your house and you have a limited space, what do you...
Well, and the trouble is, if they're sitting at my house and not at the shop, then I have to bring them every time, and people can't just play them, and I don't mind community use of my stuff, and...
Right.
So a solution I've seen from a lot of people, like in the Warhammer community, this has been kind of and even D&D, this happens a lot, is you'll play in your buddy's basement,
right,
and then you just leave your stuff in your buddy's basement,
right.
Like if you're someone who has space and likes to game, try to make it. Like, I guess this is me like telling you what to do, but
that's okay. You can tell people what to do. If they don't like it, they don't have to listen.
Try to be like...
It seems rude, but it's true.
Try to be nice to your fellow gamers. Like, give them a place to store things.
Yeah, if you have a big basement and you know they live in an efficiency apartment, go ahead and let them keep your books there.
Yeah, you don't...
They're bringing books home, they're probably sleeping on them. I mean, come on now.
And that's just one of those things of, like... I think a lot of gamers do that. And there's a lot of community and banding together because of that.
Yeah.
I mean... hell, for several years, we rented out we got together as a group and rented out a spot
Right.
to basically put all our stuff and to show up in game. That way we didn't have to go to somebody's house.
Yeah. No, and you know what? That's kind of what this store turned into after the big C word hit the States back in the 2000s. Everybody just left things here because it was like we couldn't really game here
Yeah.
because of it. So people were just leaving stuff here, and it just kind of kept going. So now I have lockers and stuff like that, and with
Yeah, well,
storage
I mean,
and
we did
stuff.
lockers at the community place that we had.
Right,
Everybody who paid rent got a locker.
right. I mean that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was like if you're a DM, you got a locker because you need to store books, and sometimes you don't want to leave your DM's notebook out in the open. So if I have players
No,
read.
well that and just you don't want people rooting through your DM stuff anyway. I mean,
I used to keep a decoy notebook.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, because I lived with two of my players.
Oh,
And so, like, one of them was my brother. So, like, you know how brothers are.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
look for each other's stuff. And
yeah, I have a brother too.
And my brother was like always asking like, "Oh, what's going on in the campaign? How do we do?" He wanted to know, and so I had to keep a decoy notebook
He wanted
with
the inside info
with false information. I kept a separate record of the campaign
just
with
for your brother.
with false information,
That's great, by the way.
and it benefited me many times because I could just lure them into. I could spin a web, and I could spin a web, and they'd get trapped in it because they'd be working on false information.
That's fun.
It's a little off topic, but this is kind of
Well, I think the topic was storage and
storage and hobby spaces.
hobby spaces, organizing.
One of the cool things in the city that I lived in prior, they actually had a maker space. I don't know if you've heard of those.
Yeah, actually, every military base in the country has one.
Yeah,
well, it used to have one. I don't know if
That's
they
a
still
pretty
do.
cool idea of like a community workshop, basically.
Yeah, yeah, they have like on the military bases, the maker space would have like a full blown auto body shop.
Oh wow.
They'd have a frame shop where you can make picture frames.
Yeah.
They have a woodworking shop. They'd have
That's
all
cool.
these little shops built in. They had lathes and all these other tools.
But I suppose when you're on a base, you don't have the space.
Right. And so they would you could go and rent out these, or just put in your time sheet. You didn't have to rent them, but or if you did, it was a very low fee.
Yeah.
And then just that way you'd get your block of 3 hours.
Yeah, and the amenities were nice, and you could plan around it. And
I think the gamer's showing up to hang out for a bit.
the gamer.
Yeah,
The one
gamer.
I'm gaming.
That
with
gamer
tonight.
right there.
Oh.
Anyway,
well, we'll look at this gamer's opinion on it.
there you go. Oh yeah, he's a collector of all sorts. Anyway, yeah. So we have a surprise guy today.
We have a surprise guest today on the podcast.
Yep. It's too late now. You already been talked about. So
Right now, we're currently talking about storage spaces and how to make use of them when you're gaming.
and we know somebody that collects a lot of books. And how do you do it? How do you keep track of all that?
How do I keep track of all
Yeah. How do you keep track of it? We were talking about how we do it. So far, we've come up with. Well, I leave all my stuff at the store, so I get away with that.
Right.
And I was
everybody
talking
can do
about
that.
the place that I previously lived at, which was like a hole in the wall. I had to like shuffle between cold storage and
Why don't you
warm
sit down?
storage.
I don't know. I kind of have a system of like my games are always at the front, the ones that I played most of the time.
Right.
Otherwise, the rest are just like.
Do you keep them in closets or totes or like?
I have an old dresser set. I'll put them in.
Oh, that's a good idea. There you
They got
go.
drawers and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
actually a really good
And then
idea.
if you need more, you just stack them on top until you got another dresser or whatever.
That's
Nice.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I've never.
I'm gonna start looking at selling
Well,
some
think of how many people,
dresses.
yeah, think of how many people
Dang.
are like, "Hey, I'm getting rid of a couch or furniture,
Yeah.
dresser, or whatever." And then, oh yeah, a dresser, perfect.
Yeah.
$10, I'd go get me a nice
So it can
dresser.
be multifunctional too. Like if you have a TV or something and you don't have a TV stand, well, maybe you take a dresser and start storing games and stuff under that.
Interesting.
Otherwise, my books are always in. I think I had an old entertainment stand that they were in, so otherwise like a shelf too.
Yeah, and I've made bookshelves. It's not that hard.
No, it's not hard at
All you need is a couple. You can use sheetrock screws and plywood if you really have to.
Rock screws is the way to go.
But yeah, we were just talking about maker spaces came up too, like different,
Mhm.
like a lot of cities
Yeah.
have stuff like that, and
That'd be fun. Maybe we should open one of them. Maybe that's what I should
a
do.
maker. I bet
Should
you
we
get
have
a
a
lot of use
retailer
out of
just
it.
open up a maker space?
But
I guess the other weird thing I do is I have like a list of all my books and all my board games as well. so that I know where they're at and what I have already.
Of course,
I mean,
master
well, yeah,
lists.
keeping them detailed is
That's
not
great.
a bad idea.
No, it's not. It's.
No.
Well, labeling things is really important too.
I guess I should have just known that this
Although,
gamer would have the list.
I've seen those, like, have you guys seen those TikToks? The board games, like, they take the boxes away.
Yeah.
And they put everything in bags. Like,
Yeah.
that's part of the game. That's like
Right,
the
but-
board. The box
right.
is part of the game. The art, the everything that goes with
See,
it.
it's just like with like video games back in the day. I was a box chucker.
Oh,
I
no.
never kept the box.
I have all the boxes
I
right
have-
from every video game
yeah.
I've ever bought.
Yeah, see, no, I'm a chuck the box. Just keep the
It's part of
cartridge.
the art, the
Art.
appeal,
You
the
get the little
game
books
books
with
in
it. The game books, yeah.
I
keep all my
never
game
kept the
books
game
too.
book.
I still have them. Actually, I just sold one on eBay. One of the old ones that I got from a guy that came in the store, and it was, I can't remember the name. It was Wild West one made by Rockstar. Can't think of it. Huh?
Red Dead?
No.
Gun.
Old gun.
Yeah,
And it had a book that was probably that. It was probably an inch thick.
yeah.
And I think I sold that for like $90.
Really?
And the guy messaged me. He said, "Dude, I hope the book is as good a condition as your pictures say it is because I've been looking for that book forever."
Wow.
That he wanted it literally for the book.
That's
He said, "I'm gonna turn around and sell the box and the rest of the stuff online,
You just wanted
probably
to-
for $30." He said, "But I wanted that book so bad."
It's an interesting, like,
I'm
Let
like,
me
So,
get into
yeah, that's an
Dang.
interesting topic we can kind of roll into is like the keeping your boxes or not keeping your boxes.
"Yeah, I
So
like
like
it."
for me, I always got great deals at GameStop when I went there,
Right.
Because I just buy the cartridges that didn't have boxes. It literally didn't matter to me.
I wouldn't do that.
If I get
No, I'm
No,
gonna do that either.
If it was $20 for the box, the booklet, and in cellophane, or $18 for a guaranteed working cartridge, I'd buy the cartridge.
No. Those GameStop games where they, like, didn't even have the outside.
Right.
It was literally just like
I didn't
someone
touch
wrote
those.
with marker
I didn't
on it.
touch those.
Oh, I actually just bought one less than a year ago.
Oh my god.
Last time I was at GameStop,
Dang.
I bought. It was crazy because it was a Legend of Zelda game, which is like renowned for their
Right.
artwork and
And
their
you just
book.
like, nope, I want
I'm
the
like,
plain-
I don't really care. I just want to play the
I
game.
bet they were flabbergasted at the counter. Like, they were just like, what?
Yeah, they're like it's been here since the dawn of the.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, it literally didn't matter to me. My brother was a keep every box, keep every booklet. Sometimes even store the games in the. It just wasn't practical to me. I'd throw all my cartridges in a bag.
I mean, all my
Just
cartridges
wrestle
were
around.
still in a thing, like a order.
Oh, I didn't even use a
But
sorter.
I put
just
the boxes away.
nope. I
Like they were stored.
I was told to use the sorters. I just keep them in my pocket or whatever.
Just keep in your pocket.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's horrible. That's just.
I think you just killed him.
Oh.
I think the guest is cringing now.
But I
That's
mean,
funny.
it's just it's kind of the difference between like. But then again, I didn't have a lot of space, so I you know,
But your pockets were fine.
my
and
pockets
empty,
are
so
fine.
we'll throw them in there
I
with loose
played the
change
game every day. Why not just keep it in my pocket?
I can't believe your game survived.
Oh yeah, and honestly, a lot of mine outlasted my brother's somehow.
Yeah, I don't even like putting my phone in my pocket when I'm like doing anything.
Right.
Like
Well, I
working,
don't
whatever.
ever use cases.
I
on
don't
my
have
phone
a case
or
on my
nothing.
phone either, and it's horrible.
I mean, it bit me in the butt the other day because I dropped my phone and I dropped every phone of mine at least like 20 times in its lifetime.
Oh boy.
This is the first one I've ever had with the screen cracked.
I think that was the same with this one. I
Yep.
had to get a new one because of it.
I dropped them on 5 feet onto concrete, no problem. This one was like the shortest drop I've ever had, and it just
That's the weirdest thing too, right? They'll drop, and if you hit them the right way,
yeah,
they're just gone.
It was just like
I had that happen. I had my stupid phone on the console of my car, and I had it was a really low sitting car, and it was probably 6 inches. It was sitting on carpet. It fell off the carpet onto the carpet. My screen just went.
wow.
I'm like, it was a flip. It was the first edition Razr phone, and somehow my inner
Mm.
screens exploded.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm like, how did?
my favorite phone of all
I don't know
time
what to do.
was like I think it was like 2010. It was a Motorola that you got when you signed up with Verizon, like the free one you got.
Probably still use it if it was still.
If I still had it, I would use it.
It took you forever to get a smartphone, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I didn't have a smartphone.
Same with like
until
London too. Yeah,
2014 or
He took
2015.
forever, yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
But the funny thing is, that phone, if you dropped it, no matter what height you dropped it from, where you dropped it from, if it's 100 miles an hour, It exploded into 3 pieces. You
Mm.
put it back together, and it turned on.
Is that the same one
It was like
the Gentle Giant had that Emerson had? Because he'd throw that thing every time he come in the store. He'd throw that thing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
stupid-
no, yeah,
he
we
just
had
he picked the phone up, he'd whip it across the room. I'm like, what are you doing?
He's like, I'll do it. I'll do it. And he
Doesn't
throws
matter.
it.
Yeah, because me, Beardface, and Emerson all had it. We had the same phone, and it just exploded into 3 pieces, and you put it back together. And it
Oh
worked.
man! All right. Well, I know we're off topic now, so that's good.
So I'm just gonna change the.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We'll just change the topic to shop talk.
Shop talk. Well, it's we always do kind of a free form anyway, so
Yeah.
that works out fine.
This would be good.
You guys do editing on here though?
Nope.
Ew.
Just let
Raw,
it flow.
raw,
Just
raw, uncut, fucking, just let it go.
You know, I realized
The
years
F word.
ago that when I was started YouTube, that I did not want to be that guy that spent 10 hours for every hour.
Right.
Because, and there's ways to, you can make a lot of money doing that,
Mhm.
but you have to sacrifice a lot to do that. And I was not going to do that. And I decided that I got a little better about speaking that way on my own personal videos because I didn't, I could read them. I'm like, I don't want to edit them, so I have to not go,
One take or else.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's how it's funny because that spilled over to teaching myself how to type. If I go through and I'll type out a paragraph and I realize I make a mistake, I don't delete just that mistake. I delete the whole paragraph, start over.
Wow.
Pretty soon your brain's like, stop.
Yeah.
You're not going to be doing this over and over and over.
Really?
I'm a little better now with like the phone and stuff. I won't delete the whole thing. But if I'm typing out a paragraph and I realize I made a huge typo, I'll just delete the whole paragraph, start over. You teach yourself how to type much better.
I'm sure you do.
Because you get really tired of typing over the same paragraph time and time again. Anyway, so yeah, wow, we got off topic and we're all over
We
the
got
place
off
now.
topic. That's
I was gonna
okay.
ask, how did you guys choose that topic? Like,
It just gotta we just pick our topics kind of as they show up. This episode started a little rough.
Well, lots of
anyways,
times
so
we have
we don't have
a topic that we
yeah.
have that we talk about, and the other one's just kind of a whatever topic.
Yeah, we usually do one structured, one unstructured.
so you just come off of unstructured and go for it.
No, we didn't actually come off a structured one.
Yeah,
more or
structured
less.
one. Yeah,
That's fair. You can go crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I know we can go nuts. And honestly, this is a decent episode because this is great background noise because this is just people talking in the shop.
Yep. Shop talk.
Yeah.
It was shop talk.
Yeah.
Actually, going back to the topic too, because what do you guys do with all your inside stuff of your boxes? Do you guys put them in little baggies, or do you try and find like containers
Boxes for what?
Oh,
like
so
in your board games
like a
and
board.
stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
so like
all
it
your
depends
little-
upon the board game for me. Scythe was a great example of a board game I had to put in baggies. Like I had to organize it because
Yeah.
if I didn't organize that game, every time we go to play it, I'd spend at least a half hour.
Right.
Same thing with like
Well,
David.
Yeah.
Pretty much had
And I only
to.
bring it up because like the games that I'm getting now, like Kickstarters or anything, like a point of their selling is like they're prepackaged or they have the
Yeah, I
prepackaged
noticed that.
things.
I think we had that conversation last time you were here.
Also, if
They
you
were getting much nicer about how
Yeah, they are, and
games
they're getting better too.
if
Right.
you've never played or purchased it, I don't know if we've ever talked about this board
No,
game
here we
in
go.
particular. This is a simple board game.
No, we haven't.
It was a Kickstarter game by 59 Parks. It's by Henry Audubon. It is the National Parks game. It is the U.S. National Parks. It's the game.
It's
Parks the
silly.
game. And the storage of this box is like insane. This is the factory storage. Someone didn't put it back the way they should have,
Right.
which I'm gonna yell at whoever played this last now.
I like these containers; they're kind of cool.
Yeah, and like it has the
They're like a tree trunk.
yeah,
or a
it
fallen log or
even
something.
like right. You can like add the art style to
Right.
that. Yeah, someone didn't put this back. That's a
Well, I
little-
can tell you who did, I can
Sacrilegious.
tell you who didn't do it.
Oof.
That would be me.
but like it has all the pieces.
Right. It reminds me of Wingspan.
All
oh,
oh,
man.
Wingspan's another good
And
one.
then
there we go.
and then my Unsettled game from Kickstarter.
Yep.
That game is such a nice game to put away and take out.
This is almost you just want to pull it out. And
You
take
just
it
want
apart.
exactly and put it away and then take. Oh,
It's not just a real joy to
See,
get
so
those.
beautiful.
this is how it's supposed to go together.
right.
And
Oh,
it
that's
has-
nice.
It has the slot for
To
the
put the
board to
board-
lock all the cards down so it doesn't
Right.
explode like when we just opened it. And then all of the storage bins fit in here perfect.
No, it's like
It's-
even on Wingspan. Did I show you their little? They have a little graph on the side of their box that teaches you how to put the board game over.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's
right.
cool.
It has all the layers and everything. Exactly. Yeah, that fits nice in there.
And it's perfect. And like it wasn't a selling point of the game. It's just
No, but it's becoming a selling point of a lot of games.
my
Yeah.
brother picked. I bought. purchased 3 copies of this game.
Yeah.
My brother bought one for his home. I bought one for the store, for the game shop here, and then my brother and I went in together to buy one for our parents, and that's at our parents' house because it's a fun, great game.
Right.
It's really quick, and it just blew me away the first time I opened it because I'm like, this is so well organized. Why doesn't everyone do this?
Yeah, why doesn't every game look? That was the same way with
Because
Unsettled.
it's just injection molding. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. You want to mass produce the game to do it.
Right.
Right.
That's probably why a lot of people don't vote. But why doesn't Monopoly do that? Or
Right.
Sorry, or one of those
Good.
games from forever ago. They could have saved
Redesigned their box, redesigned everything on how you put it away.
It could have.
Well, yeah, I tell you what, it's like when you bought the new phone back in the day when phones first were starting to get the whole experience of opening that phone for the first time and seeing the box and the soft, whatever that soft cardboard was that they used. It was just so nice, and then everything was nice and smooth and silky, and you'd pull it out, and it was the experience. Same thing with opening a board game. You know, you open it up and you see it. It's just a bunch of cardboard punch outs. You're like, oh my god.
It's part of the presentation.
I feel like that's part of it though of some games, right? Like
Right, but
it
if
is
you
fun
have no way to
popping up.
organize it
Right.
afterwards, like with Gloomhaven,
Right.
that was like everything was chucked in
Oh god.
huge. You remember?
Yeah, I do.
It's
Like
just
and
huge
taking all
like-
that out. Oh.
Or the other one that's always kind of bugged me. This has been like a gripe of mine. Is like you buy a game that has a lot of cards in it, and they don't have specific spots for each type.
Or even
of
like
card.
a deck box for each
Right.
type of card.
Right. Like a lot of the Ultra Pro deck boxes used to
Right.
come with dividers.
Yep.
They don't anymore.
They don't?
No.
No.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure there's some companies that
They
do.
do, but some
But like
this one.
I know Boulder does it, but like
Right.
the old Ultra Pro graphics ones
Right.
used to have a graphic insert that was taller than a Magic card, and so it let you separate your sideboard from your main deck,
Right.
and it held 75 cards, double
This is
sleeves.
nice.
It was like
It's not anymore. though.
perfect.
That get so unsettled when I got it. None of it was sleeved or whatever.
Okay.
But they let you buy stuff with sleeved, and they made their boxes so that if you did sleeve it, you could rearrange the boxes so that you could. put
Ascension
sleeve
did
in there.
that too. Ascension
Yeah,
had
they
it so
did,
that you
didn't
could
they?
double sleeve your
Yeah.
or
Oh, man.
sleeve your stuff, and it's like that was just smart, intelligent design.
Right. Such good.
That's thinking about the player, not just the
Right, that's
design
thinking
of
about the
game.
experience because
Well,
and Sentinels was another interesting one for me because Sentinels doesn't have any sort of thing,
Of course.
and like it doesn't come with sleeves, it doesn't have like sleeves you can buy for it,
Right.
and I sleeved mine with clear matte sleeves, and I've played with the same set forever. But a buddy of mine, the guy that showed me how to play the game,
Right.
never sleeved his cards. But he had a pretty good argument for it. The game was $20. When the cards wear out, he just buys a new game.
Right. Wow.
And I'm like, well, I mean, that's
I mean,
I
there's
guess
some
you've got
logic
extra
there.
money.
because he's like, here's the thing, you can spend a lot of money on enough sleeves to sleeve it.
Right.
Good sleeves. If you don't want to just use penny sleeves, whatever. You can spend a lot of money on sleeves just to do it. That money could buy probably 6 sets of that game. So why would I buy sleeves? I could just buy new cards.
But it's the small people in Africa and India that have to sort through your trash. That's why.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
No,
yeah,
but
I understand.
to me,
why.
my counter argument was, I'm a Magic player. I gotta have my cards sleeved. It's like a nervous tick of mine
Right.
because when I shuffle, if they're not sleeved, I can't do my shuffle.
You can't feel it.
I like the feel of the sleeves.
I mean, you get into that rhythm when you're holding your hand.
Yeah, you
anyway,
flick in
really
your
flick
cards. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I do that when I play normal like playing card games.
Yeah, I do it now
and people
too.
just get annoyed
Oh,
by it.
like,
Like,
what are you
whatever. I just what I
doing?
do.
I was playing with my uncle's last hunting season at the
oh
cabin,
gosh.
and like I haven't played cards with them since I was a kid. Well, I've got over a decade of Magic the Gathering under my belt,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting there and I flicked my cards and like, why are you do? I'm like, dude, I
can't help myself.
can't help.
Oh, was I doing that? My bad. This is
And-
normal.
And it's like
Right.
you do the tick 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 tick, and everybody has like their own rhythm when they do it.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm pretty slow with like whatever. I like to hear the slide.
I'm a
It is, and then there's people that are like, yeah, you're
I'm
pretty
super
quick.
rapid,
You're
and
just
then I
fast.
do that thing, like when I think, I don't flick the cards when I'm thinking. I flick the cards when I'm waiting.
Right,
If I'm thinking, the cards are face down in front of me.
right.
I'm not even looking at them. I'm looking at the board. It is like it's just one of those weird nervous ticks. But
Interesting.
Oh yeah, now you know when he's thinking about things. When he's just like, "Come on, let me get to my turn."
So why he's always looking so disgusted when he's playing Magic with me. I gotcha. Thought he was just
He's
disgusted.
constantly
I
flicking
thought he was
against
just
you,
disgusted
Scott.
because I was
You're
so
not even
good.
using his brain power.
You got to remember though about Magic. If you're taking more than 15 seconds on your turn, that's way too long.
Yeah, you should be thinking on your opponent's turn.
No, even that. Like even if you have a complex sequence, I played Magic the majority of my Magic with one person. Or I've said bulk of my match, not like the highest amount of games I've ever played with a single person has been with someone who was
sorry.
extraordinarily quick, like as quick as me, if not quicker.
I think
at
I know what
Magic.
you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's the guy I'm playing Warhammer with currently.
Yeah.
And
Gamer Joe.
yeah, Gamer Joe. And but yeah, it was
That's their
like
generic name.
Yeah.
Gamer
people would
Joe.
watch us play Magic and they would lose their minds because we would play a game in like 2 minutes, a whole game.
Oh, I loved watching you guys. You guys like
Because
and
we're
then you
5 turns ahead.
You're 5 turns ahead. You guys would like get to like turn 4 and be like, "Oh, scoop, play again."
Yeah,
Like, all right, cool.
and-
Who won? He did. Like, I mean,
And you're like, wait, how did he win? And you're like, oh, because
Right.
he has 2 rhinos in his hand, and
right.
I only have 1 counter spell, and I don't have
Right.
the removal, but
He
I
only plays this when he does this,
yeah,
and he has that.
and it's like we just
It was fun to watch.
we could just say what we had in our hands, and the
That's
other player just react accordingly, and it was
Right.
and you just show them. And then
But
it's
you
like-
guys also played like those 2 decks.
yeah, that specific matchup we played
Tons.
I want to say over 200 games.
I feel like you guys were like that day we came in to watch you. You guys have been in there all day, all night.
Oh yeah, we've
Like,
been over almost 20 hours. Plus.
Yeah, you guys, and you were doing the same. It sounded like you were just doing the same decks against each other.
Yeah, same decks,
Yeah.
exact same decks over and over
Yeah.
and over again. We learned that matchup. He learned how to play against tempo control, and I learned how to play against mid-range aggro.
And that was like he was Asban, right?
Yeah, he was Abzan,
Yeah,
and I was
Abzan.
blue-white swords.
Right.
As Harry
Asban.
Potter.
I'm thinking of Harry Potter.
He was playing Azkaban.
Azkaban.
But anyways, this has been a kind of a weird episode.
It's okay.
We had a lot of stuff happening. Hope you enjoyed it. This is Shop Talk.
Later.
Wait, did you want to do the intro since?
No, I already did the intro.
No, the outro.
No.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next week.